On this edition of Good Day DePaul, ChatGPT, is it leading to cheating on college homework assignments?
Migrants in Chicago, how are they being treated?
And 24 hours of gaming at DePaul for an important cause. I'm Selah Estelle.
And I'm Stefania Rodriguez, and this is Good Day DePaul.
It's called ChatGPT, and it's a form of artificial intelligence, one that can produce an incredible variety of content. Most of that content has very positive potential, but in one case, the writing of papers, ChatGPT can be abused. Good Day DePaul's Ariana Allen explains.
The artificial intelligence company OpenAI launched ChatGPT in November of last year. Users can type in a question or prompt and receive an answer sourced from information found on the internet. The app has several functions, including writing a poem, song, or even an essay. DePaul staff are encouraging students to use the software as a resource and not something that does their work for them fraudulently. OpenAI is not new to the field of artificial intelligence. Since its founding in 2015, it's worked on projects including teaching a robotic arm to complete a Rubik's Cube and using only text to create computer-generated images. Its newest software, ChatGPT, can understand user requests and accurately respond to feedback given by the user. DePaul's Director of Information Services, Bob McCormick, says that artificial intelligence can be used in many ways.
I mean, these tools can create music, they can create art, they can generate computer code, so they can be used to write computer code. They can write essays, as you well know. So there's almost, or let's put it this way, I know of no discipline at DePaul that this doesn't affect in some way.
If you ask ChatGPT to write you an essay, for example, it will do so immediately with no questions asked. It starts the essay with an introductory paragraph and moves into supporting arguments and a conclusion, all with accurate grammar and punctuation. It's designed to produce human-like product quality, which is making it difficult for some professors.
Very hard to tell the difference between student writing and what ChatGPT is able to generate.
Jennifer Connery is an associate professor of English and the director of the University Honors Program at DePaul. She says that ChatGPT is something she now talks honestly about with her students.
ChatGPT gives you a product, but if you just go straight to the product, you're not going through the learning process, which is what actually matters for your life after graduation.
McCormick is also encouraging faculty to talk to each other about what this software means in the classroom going forward.
It's really about educating the faculty so that they're aware of what these tools can do, and then giving them the chance to consider if and how they change their pedagogical techniques inside the classroom, their assignments, et cetera, et cetera.
There is some novelty to being able to use this new software to generate answers on the spot. But getting an answer without doing any of the work is often a way for students to fall into issues with academic integrity. According to the New York Times, Washington University in St. Louis, the University of Vermont in Burlington, and Dallas Theological Seminary are all institutions that have or are planning to make changes to their academic integrity policy due to ChatGPT. DePaul currently has not made any new policies regarding ChatGPT, but it does have an academic integrity policy. DePaul's policy says plagiarism is, quote, any use of words, ideas, or other work products attributed to an identifiable source without attributing the work to the source from which it was obtained, in a situation where there is a legitimate expectation of original authorship. ChatGPT works by taking information from several different sources online and compiling them into one body of work, which may be cause for concern.
I think something feels very clear and clean about a student types a prompt into ChatGPT, or a graphic design student puts a prompt into Dolly and turns that in as their own work without doing any further revision to it. That kind of feels like, oh yeah, that's maybe more equivalent to asking someone else to write a paper for you, using an existing paper or existing work, digital work, code work as your own.
Brown says some DePaul professors find this software concerning. Meanwhile, researchers at Stanford University have created Detect GPT, which is a tool that's capable of spotting artificial intelligence usage in the work students turn in. This software may help detect academic fraud in the future, but it's still in the research stage and not yet fully functional. Along with ChatGPT being something that may tempt students to cheat, some professors warn that what it gives you might not even be accurate.
I was really surprised that it actually got a lot of my quiz questions wrong, that for whatever reason that it's, ChatGPT can only pull from whatever information is out there. And so it isn't capable of actual critical thinking.
Connery also mentioned another possible issue with the software.
That's the most dangerous part of ChatGPT, I think, for society, that it's an easy, very fast way of propagating misinformation or disinformation campaigns.
In the past few years, the spreading of misinformation online has become more common. Since ChatGPT takes its information from online sources, there's a possibility that if enough misinformation is available on a topic, that the software won't be able to detect the difference.
It's constantly reading everything that's out there. So if you keep propagating more things that are incorrect, it's going to keep reabsorbing unless you have humans intervene.
Some students on campus have experimented with the software to get a sense of what it can and can't do.
So I pasted in a couple of prompts that I had in, and I was surprised at how quickly it was able to generate a pretty decent essay. It's nothing that I would be comfortable turning in necessarily. But I mean, if you ask it to write a sourced story, it will do that. It will pull the sources. It won't always be very accurate, but it's believable, and that's kind of scary.
But he says it can be useful in some ways.
But what it is good at is coming up with ideas. If I paste a prompt in and it just spits out all this information quicker than a Google search. I mean, yeah, I've used it in that sense.
The full impact ChatGPT will have in the classroom is still unknown since it's so new. For now, some professors say it can be appropriately used for certain purposes, as long as it's not used fraudulently.
And what I've done in the introduction to the class, I acknowledged ChatGPT is a thing. I know about it. You might know about it. I think you should try it. Use it for some of our prompts or assignments. See what it gives you. Integrate it into your drafting process. But know that the most important writing you do in this class is writing that is yours, writing that is authentic.
For Good Day DePaul, I'm Ariana Allen.
Migrants. They continue to come to Chicago. Many of them were sent here by Republican Governor Greg Abbott of Texas. The question now is, what is being done to help these migrants? I talked to some people at DePaul about this situation. As many as 5,000 migrants or more have arrived in Chicago since last August in buses chartered by Texas and Colorado. Despite coming to a sanctuary city, packed shelters and limited state funding are leaving many recent arrivals with few places to turn. Groups of migrants have also arrived on their own through different modes of transportation. With nowhere to go after coming here, many have slept in bus shelters, police stations, and churches. 25th Ward Alderman Byron Sigcho Lopez claims the city still doesn't have a strategic plan to address this humanitarian crisis.
In a time of humanitarian crisis, it is really imperative that we coordinate efforts locally, right, at the city level, county, state, federal level, and that plan just hasn't been there.
In late December, Mayor Lori Lightfoot asked the state legislature for $54 million to help fund emergency services for asylum seekers. The city is set to receive less than half of that amount, just $20 million, and will not receive any more funding after February 1st. With limited funding, Sigcho Lopez says empty facilities across the city should be repurposed into shelters in coordination with local communities. But he's criticizing Mayor Lightfoot for opening a former woodlawn school on the south side as a temporary shelter without consulting the community first. Meanwhile, community members and organizations across the city are stepping up to help migrants find shelter. Sigcho Lopez welcomed migrants into the basement of his office during some cold winter nights.
Our community has been very generous and kind because we understand, the immigrant stories, and, we've been port of entries for generations.
According to the Asylum Seeker Advocacy Project, asylum seekers are usually eligible to apply for a work permit 150 days after they file an application for asylum, but some feel that's too long to wait.
Now imagine that. Our Congress has said someone with no money and no resources, because they've often had to leave much behind in fleeing persecution, has to wait 6 months to lawfully work. Our Congress is saying, you want this benefit, you can starve or be homeless.
Craig Mewson, an adjunct faculty member at DePaul's College of Law and Refugee and Migration Studies, says all migrant children can lawfully obtain public schooling. However, this is made difficult when a family may constantly have to move around. On February 7th, the Biden administration told the Supreme Court that the Title 42 border policy would be lifted in May, when the COVID-19 public health emergency will expire. Title 42 was introduced at the start of the coronavirus pandemic to prevent the spread of COVID-19. It overrides immigration law that allows people to ask for asylum when entering illegally and allows border officials to turn away migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border.
By engaging in these enforcement activities that deny people the right to apply for asylum, we do a number of things wrong. We undermine the rule of law, which both liberals and conservatives should all agree that should be a way that we all keep peace amongst all of ourselves.
And the migrant issue is not just confined to Chicago. Other cities like New York and Washington, D.C. are also dealing with this humanitarian crisis. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Stefania Rodriguez.
DePaul gaming students recently spent 24 straight hours at their computers. Good Day DePaul's Tavid Papazian explains why.
The DePaul esports community came together on February 3rd for 24 straight hours of gaming fun to raise money for Lurie Children's Hospitals through their Extra Life stream. They not only achieved their goal of raising $1,500, but surpassed it to at least $1,700. All of it coming through their Extra Life stream.
Extra Life is a philanthropic gaming organization. So what that means is that they host gaming events such that they're raising money for various causes around the country, and specifically Extra Life Chicago is a guild of Extra Life that raises money for Lurie Children's Hospital.
So Extra Life is one of our programs that supports our For Every Child fund at Lurie Children's. And so in that fund, each year we look at the specific initiatives that the hospital has in front of them to help fund different areas within Lurie Children's. And we call it the areas of greatest need, where our doctors and nurses and care staff see the opportunity to be able to use these funds in a very strategic way.
Funds that are raised through events like Extra Life go directly to the hospitals and allow the gaming community to come together and have fun at the same time. And those fun times were in no short supply, with plenty of video games, competitions, tabletop games, and other activities, including a cosplay contest, with many activities being broadcast from their stream room onto Twitch, including Dungeons and Dragons, otherwise known as D&D.
So you're going to see some D&D. We've got DFrag here, which is our sort of resident gaming organization here at DePaul, who will be hosting several events in the Jarvis Center for Innovation. You're also going to see a lot of video games. So we got free play. We've got a Splatoon 3 activation tomorrow, as well as a Mario Kart tournament. Tonight, after we lock in, we're going to do a Mario Strikers tournament right there on the big screen.
You can still make donations. Just go to extralife.com and search for DePaul Gaming and pick a team member to donate for the cause. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Tavi Papazian.
The DePaul Board of Trustees has 3 new members. They are Kevin Keeley, president of Keeley Teton Advisors, Malik Murray, senior vice president at Ariel Investments, and Michael Canning, group president of One North Kitchen and Bar in Chicago. The Board of Trustees is responsible for shaping the strategies of the university.
Coming up on Good Day DePaul Sports, the DePaul softball team is off to a great start.
That story and more when we return.
Today, the heroes that fight day in and day out on the front lines. Those who are there, innovating in real time, saving lives and answering the call to care in times of crisis. American nurses. Nurses who have been there for each and every one of us in times of crisis for more than 150 years. Nurses are the pillar of strength and the foundation of healthcare and life itself. Nurses are there the day we are born. They are there when your family is in crisis, and they are there in the end. In confronting the most catastrophic health crisis in modern history, we must remember our American nurse heroes need our support as much as we need them. To show our gratitude for their courage and ensure they receive the critical education and support services they need, donate to the Coronavirus Response Fund for Nurses today, in honor of your American nurse hero.
The DePaul softball team starts very strong, winning all 4 games in the DePaul Dome tournament in suburban Rosemont, and a big honor for the Blue Demons' Tori Meyer. She was named Big East Softball Player of the Week. This after Meyer had a batting average of .462 in the tournament with 6 hits and 5 RBIs.
The DePaul men's basketball team lost in double overtime to St. John's. The Blue Demons have now lost 7 straight Big East games.
The DePaul women's basketball team has lost 2 in a row, falling to Seton Hall and St. John's.
The DePaul women's tennis team continues to struggle. They've now lost 5 straight matches.
And the men's tennis team has lost 3 in a row, falling to Drake, Creighton, and Nebraska Omaha.
Next on Good Day DePaul, Miracles Till Midnight.
Stay with us.
I think we should split.
Split up? Why?
I want to meet new people. People who need me.
Meet new people? You're my left kidney.
You only need one of me, man. And you have 2. There are plenty of people out there who are dying because they don't have one.
Really?
You'll be giving the gift of life.
I could be a hero.
Yeah. It's all win-win up here, buddy.
Why don't you go and save a life, pal? You're doing the right thing.
DePaul's Demonthon recently held its annual Miracles Till Midnight event. They raised $11,354, beating their $11,000 goal. The money goes to Chicago's Lurie Children's Hospital.
That's all for this week's edition of Good Day DePaul. You can keep up with us by visiting our Vimeo channel at Good Day DePaul or by going to goodday.depaul.edu.
And make sure to check us out on Facebook.
And if you have any news tips, message us through the Good Day DePaul social media channels.
Thanks for watching. I'm Stefania Rodriguez.
And I'm Sayla Estelle. Have a good day, DePaul.